UCLA, they get players in the money game. So if it's coming down to, oh, can this guy get a couple extra 100,000, which is, first of all, crazy that these guys are making six figures to play, let alone seven figures in some cases, multiple millions. And while it's like a worst kept secret, reading from the Santa Fe New Mexican, all right, a paper that obviously covers New Mexico basketball, the report is that Donovan Dent was getting $3 million through a name, image, and likeness deal going to UCLA. Now you're like, oh, I remember seeing that Kentucky was expecting to get maybe a potential Magoon Guath, maybe getting a Donovan Dent. And it seemed all said and done that Dent would take the money and go to UCLA. Now, I don't know what went through his process. Did he want to be at home in SoCal and wear the UCLA blue and gold, wear those iconic UCLA jerseys? Now there's the story of, under-recruited, developed, going to UCLA and the Bruins bottom. Well, it's okay, but if we don't forget, New Mexico's head coach left to go coach in the Big East. So it's not like he was returning to the same program with the same coach that he would have had these last few seasons if he stayed. That's not what would have happened. Pitino went up, he leveled up. That's baby Pitino, right? And then he went to Xavier. Now, that left Dent with, okay, where does he want to go? Does he want to test pro ball? Does he want to make a lot of money prior to his senior season and then go test NBA draft or whatever that looks like for him post his collegiate playing career? But reading what the Santa Fe New Mexican says about, it's apparently, these sources from this paper says Dent has a $2 million payment up front. So right now, stack of cash that UCLA, their NIL collective, however they're able to make it work, can just hand up. And then they're going to give an additional $1 million during the season. Not exactly Dodgers deferred payments, but in a sense, it's like, here's your signing bonus. And they're not exactly deferring it, but the rest of the money is going to come during the season, right? To be like, hey, come get yourself to UCLA. A SoCal kid from Riverside, one of the 9 New Mexico players that entered the portal. But just think, 2 years ago, in the last podcast, I talked about Mick Cronin, who spent the entire offseason talking about how the Dodgers signed all the free agents and the Cincinnati Reds wanted some too. Kind of playing that old Ohio angle, old Cincinnati angle. Like, yeah, we can't, we couldn't get anybody. A year later, they're able to get 6 guys. Now, the price tag has been rising significantly. I remember talking to a host within the network, and they're like, how much did Donovan Dent get? It's this much. It's like, it looks like it. You look at On3, he was listed as a guy that's worth at least $2.1 million in NIL, and UCLA is apparently giving that in just an upfront payment to Donovan Dent. Two plus million, around $2 million. According to the Santa Fe New Mexican. I've heard that number thrown out multiple times. And now he's getting upwards of $3 million. Maybe you know this already, but just to make you aware, like, some of these rosters were constructed with payments that they're giving to one guy now. So a roster was probably constructed with close to $3 to $4 million. And now the payments in the NIL world, in the transfer portal world, that's what it's costing to go buy a player, a singular superstar that UCLA needed to transform their roster. They really did. Does it suck that the Adai news came afterwards, that he's not returning to UCLA? It absolutely does. But Mick Cronin's done more with less in the post. Let's be honest. Cody Riley as your starting center, a young Jalen Clark before he broke out, and UCLA rode Johnny Juzang, a Jules Bernard, a Jaquez, and a Tiger Campbell to a Final Four run, on the verge of getting to a national championship game and nearly knocking off, at the time, an unbeaten, unquestioned number 1 Gonzaga team in the Final Four that nobody thought UCLA had a chance to beat them. And they were that close in the Mick Cronin era. And now you pivot forward from 21 to 23. Those guys all graduate. They're all gone. They all go pro. UCLA didn't have the funds. In the last episode, I talked about how those guys are almost all gone except for Brandon Williams. All gone. 30% of last year's incoming transfer class is all gone. And they probably didn't commit. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't know. But you can't envision that all those guys added up to as much as Donovan Dent is getting, reportedly. Reading from the Santa Fe New Mexican, I've heard that $3 million number thrown out. I don't know the specifics. I think Mick Cronin was asked earlier in the year about specifics. He's like, you don't know. These are backroom unknown deals that we don't really understand what they are in every single case, right? Even UConn's women's basketball coach, Gina Auriemma, talking about every single player is a free agent every year, almost every day, once the portal opens, and they can enter as many times, go to as many schools as they want. It's crazy, it's ridiculous, but it's the reality. Now, the question is, if you're paying Donovan Dent that much, what are you getting if you're trying to bring players to UCLA? Because you got to secure the return of a Bilodeau, a Clark, and Eric Daly Jr., right? And of course, the other guys, I'm probably forgetting off the top of my head, Trent Perry. Where do these other guys mix in for UCLA as to, who's going to return? Well, you got to get those guys. Maybe they get a boost, a raise, if you will, or maybe a readjusted NIL, not salary, but deal. And then where does this money go? They obviously have the money, but did they spend it all on one guy? I'd like to think they have enough to go get whoever they want, but the timing of Adimar leaving is what's almost the most critical point. Maybe less so than the rumors, maybe less so than him just actually leaving, but the fact that when the portal opens and if you sit on it for a week, these are guys that have been on teams in the tournament, and then a couple days later they're going elsewhere and already committing and changing rosters for a season months before we're even ready. Like, we're not even more than half a year away before the next season starts. More than half a year. And this is the week where things get done, right? A la Hamilton, right? In the room where it happens. Well, nobody is in the room where it happens, right? Aaron Burr wanted to be in the room where it happens. Doesn't seem like anybody is, but they're making these deals. Can UCLA be in the room where it happens to go get to post big? Because Magoon's going back to San Diego State. Other guys are like Nick Davidson. He's going elsewhere. I think that Clemson is what I said before. They got to go get somebody. Vasar is getting heavily recruited by North Carolina. So that's another blue blood. UCLA is going to have to out-recruit to go get a potential big-time star, or maybe not big-time star, but a big man in the portal with some potentially big-time chunk of cash. Because North Carolina, they don't have that Armando Bacot. They did not have that last year. They were undersized. And UCLA, for the most of the season, played undersized. And once they played with some size, started winning a lot more. Coincidence? I don't think so. Bruins got to get something, and Dent's making a lot of money. Do they have enough? I would like to believe so, but they paid a hefty price to go get Donovan Dent. The NCAA tournament is here and nearly almost finished, but FanDuel is still giving you the chance to get on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use in everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories to even who's cutting down the nets. And hey, the FanDuel app, it's super easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly, no waiting around. The final weekend of tournament games are happening, so check it out. There's always something super exciting to bet on with the big-time games. So visit FanDuel.com and get on the college hoops action all tournament long.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Hands up, Bruins fans. 8 clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA. Fight, fight, fight. This has been Locked On UCLA. Zach signing off. Go Bruins.